Bienvenidos, bienvenidos a todos. Welcome everyone. Esta noche tenemos interpretación de lenguaje de señas de los Estados Unidos y también del español. Como se nota, tenemos intérprete de lenguaje de señas ahorita en la pantalla. Vamos a estar usando Spotlight para asegurar que se pueda ver a los dos intérpretes para esta noche. We have ASL interpreter currently on the screen who will be using Spotlight between the two interpreters tonight so that ASL interpretation is visible. Y también esta noche tenemos interpretación de español. En un ratito vamos a activar la función de interpretación en Zoom. Va a haber en la parte inferior de la pantalla de Zoom un icono que es un globo que dice interpretación. We also have Spanish interpretation tonight. In a few moments, you will see the interpretation feature activated. There will be a globe on the bottom of your screen that says interpretation. Por favor, que todos elijan un idioma o inglés o español. Y para las personas bilingües, por favor, se ahora me están diciendo que me pueden oír. Cuando activamos la interpretación, por favor, todos tienen que elegir o inglés o español. Las personas bilingües se pueden escuchar de cualquier canal o mantenerse en off, sin interpretación, para oír de cualquier persona que habla en la sala principal. Once the interpretation is activated, you will have the option. Everyone should choose either English or Spanish. If you are bilingual, you can remain with interpretation feature off to hear anyone who is speaking on the main screen. Otra vez, bienvenidos al evento y ahora vamos a pasar a la primera persona para tratar del evento, Kim Pevia. Once again, thank you everyone for attending the event. Now we will pass to Kim Pevia to start with the event.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that. So welcome to the March Southern Movement Assembly General Membership Assembly Call. We are on our way. My name is Kim Pevia. I am with Indivisible, based here in Robeson County, North Carolina, which is the land of the Lumbee, Tuscarora, and Chirral. I also represent alternate roots. I use she, they, and cousin pronouns, which are widely acceptable in Indian country, and I'm one of your hosts for this evening. But before we begin, we'd like to go over a few logistics for the call as I'm reminding myself to slow down. So here we are. We just want to remind you that we will be recording this call. These calls are recorded and emailed with the notes and resources for all who have registered for the call. We also want to remind you to mute. Just mute your phone or your computer. If you're not talking, it reduces the sound interference. And we really want you to be engaged with your social media. So please post and share all about this experience and about the work that we're doing. Use hashtag Southern People's Power when you post. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We're really excited to have you here. You can stop the share for me there now. And I think it might be Ariana I'm passing it to. And if not, they will correct me. Welcome, everyone.
Thank you, Ms. Kim. Hello, everybody. We want to again thank you for coming today. And we'll drop some questions in the chat as you are arriving. Please let us know what part of the South are you coming from? What is feeling hard for you these days? And what is bringing you joy? So if you want to share in the chat the answers to some of those questions, as you are arriving in the space, we would love to hear from you. Hey, Nina. Hey, Amira. Thank you all for joining us. Okay. Now I'm going to ask everybody to join us for a brief breathing exercise. So we can be settled, we can be present, we can feel refreshed and aware. So everybody, hopefully you are in a calm place. And if you can sit or stand if you're standing, sit, get somewhere comfortable. Close your eyes. Zone out what's going on around you. And just start to feel your breath. Deep breath in. Feel your stomach lift. And then exhale your breath out. And draw your stomach back into your spine. And take a deep breath in again. Continue that rhythm. We'll take a few minutes, about 3 minutes here, just to do some deep, intentional breathing. Get carried away by your thoughts, just come back to your breath. And deep breathe in. And exhale out. Last breaths in and release. And I hope you all feel grounded and settled and ready to move forward. This evening we have a jam-packed presentation that we're really excited about. And so I will go ahead and pass it to Miss Shafia. And she will start rolling through the land. Ms. Shafia, the floor is yours.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you, Ariana. My name is Shafia Mbalia. I'm with Black Workers for Justice. My pronouns are she, her, and cuz. I am located in Savannah, Georgia, Gullah Geechee territory. And what we're going to do is present very briefly a landscape analysis of what's happening, that's what's affecting us across the South. And of course, we can't, leave out world events, and we'll do that very, very briefly. I want to divide this up into bad news and the good news, and I always want to put the bad news first so we can end on an up note. The South, the US South, is the most militarized region of the United States, with 154 military bases. It is the most, not only does it have the most military bases of any other region in the country, it is also the home of the NATO command. Since World War II, during a supposed golden age of peace, the United States military has killed or helped kill some 20 million people, overthrown at least 36 governments, interfered in at least 85 foreign elections, attempted to assassinate over 50 foreign leaders, and dropped bombs on people in over 30 countries. The United States is responsible for the deaths of 5 million people in Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia, and over 1 million since 2003 in Iraq. Since 2001, the United States has been systematically destroying a region of the globe, bombing Afghanistan, Iraq, Pakistan, Libya, Somalia, Yemen, and Syria, not to mention the Philippines. The United States has special forces, quote unquote, operating in 2/3 of the world's countries and non-special forces in 3/4 of them. It has used NATO as a front to goad Europe and Russia into a situation we now face in the South, but also threatening the entire planet with nuclear destruction. Inside the borders of the US South and US, increasing authoritarian laws and vigilantism, from book banning in education, justice seekers from the 2020 to 2021 uprising are facing court trials across the South and the country. Vigilante laws against women seeking abortion. Even Missouri debating whether to charge those aiding someone getting a legal abortion in another state. Gerrymandering of districts so that rising majorities can never have full representation. And in South Georgia, ICE has opened up the largest detention prison in the country. Well, to the good news. Across the South, however, folks are fighting back. We see the handwriting on the wall, and we are building assemblies and coalitions and alliances and networks to help resist the attacks that are coming on our communities and to defend our communities. Besides the Southern Movement Assembly, there is the Southern Workers Assembly organizing across 6 states of the South. There are local assemblies such as what is planned in Birmingham, Alabama, or Raleigh, North Carolina, New Bern, North Carolina. Nationally, there's the People's Senate motion. There's assembly-based kind of organization that is coming out of the political prisoner movement. And there's a low-wage workers assembly plan to take place on Juneteenth.
Shafia, you're muted.
Got it. I don't know when it did it. Across the South, workers in Knoxville, we just got word today, workers in Knoxville, Tennessee, Starbucks are unionizing, as well as other nonprofit organizations. Amazon workers in Bessemer, Alabama, have been finalizing their vote, a second vote, after challenging Amazon at the National Labor Relations Board. And there's organizing going on in 3 sites in North Carolina with Amazon. And women and immigration activists have mobilized against sterilization and abuse in that South Georgia facility and other facilities across the South. And this is just a tip of the iceberg of some of the things, the fight back that is going on across the South that are including youth, women, other nationalities, as well as transgender people. So we want to throw throw it to Sister Stephanie, who will take this little snippet and run with it and bring us to beginning our action plan.
Awesome. Thank you, Sister Shafia. And there's so much, and so much of what you described, all of us in the Southern Movement Assembly and on the couple of general membership assembly calls leading up to this in January and February, we've all been describing these attacks and the ways that we've been organizing to resist. And thank you for shouting out the Southern Workers Assembly and wanting to connect and combine with so many different groups that are moving at this really critical time. And so we're going to walk through and move through the road to SMA 10, to the 10th Southern Movement Assembly. And we know, just as we face these immense crises that Shafia just laid out, we take them on in different ways. We take on different parts from where we're positioned, from where we live, for what we face directly. But we also know, as authoritarian forces rise, the backlash attempts that we're facing right now attempt to isolate us, to divide us, and neutralize us. And so we feel strongly that the Southern Movement Assembly is a movement formation that breaks isolation, convenes us across difference, and strengthens our shared visions and strategies for a better world. So let's see the next slide. We're excited to announce tonight and really share with you all what we've all been planning together, the 2022 SMA Action Plan. So there's a role for all of us. There's a role for all of our communities to play and connect, combine, convene, and converge into the Southern Movement Assembly 10. We're on our way, is a quote from the great Fannie Lou Hamer, a freedom fighter out of Mississippi, who we often echo and carry forward in that legacy of the Southern Freedom Movement. And let's see the next slide. So yeah, as we enter this moment and this third year of the pandemic, we are reckoning with so many different crises, from the militarism and surveillance that we're facing, the climate crises, over-policing, the misinformation campaigns, the attacks on our healthcare, the attacks on trans people, on immigrants, refugees, so many people that we've all named in these calls. And just to quote one of us from Angela Winfrey from the first call of the year, we need intergenerational dialogues, creative spaces to converge, and grassroots political education to counteract these strategies of distraction. And we appreciate that quote and all of the comments and informing that we do as an assembly. And I want to get us into the action plan, what it's about. In 2022, we're asking some big questions. What can we do together to grow and exercise our power across all front lines? How do we exercise this Southern Freedom Movement power to replace the systems that have failed us? So those are big questions, and that's what this action plan is about. So let's see the next slide. Yeah, so we're going to strengthen up our relationships. These are our big goals. We're going to strengthen our movement infrastructure to protect and defend. We're going to sustain our leadership. We've got to keep each other supported and energized. We have to be able to tag in and out when we're facing off with what we're facing in our home front lives, in our work lives, and on these front lines. So we want to build and streamline our practices so that we can really be more effective and take care of one another. And we want to support our members through connection, engagement, education, training. We want to really use the People's Movement Assembly this year as a primary tool to do our organizing and to converge across all of these front lines. And so the big things we're doing this year, we're going to map where we are and where we're finding each other. We're going to expand and deepen our relationships. We're going to communicate our beautiful stories of resistance, and we're going to resource our people. And all of this is towards governing ourselves. So let's go through each of those outcomes, and we'll just see it briefly. And I know we're going to put the full action plan into the chat so folks can take a look at it, and we'll share these slides after the call. But you could kick us to the next slide, Annie. Thank you. So we want to clarify our governance. By the end of this year and into 2023, we have to ask these deep and big questions and try to answer them. How do we govern ourselves as social movements? So in this action plan, we want to practice governance for and by the people through these assemblies and build towards SMA 10 with clear representation that produces our new plan for 2023. Let's see the next one. We'll go to the next slide. Yeah, we're going to expand our base. So we know that folks are facing all of these issues and frontlines all across 13 states of the South and beyond. So how do we grow our power? We know we're stronger together, so we're going to find each other, support each other, and learn together as organizers, expand and deepen our membership and relationships. What's about the next one? We're going to map our movement. So across all that territory, how do we know where we are and what we need? We want to map and coordinate our movement history. How did we get here over the last 10 years that has built the Southern Movement Assembly, and then the much longer decades and generations long Southern freedom movement and Black radical traditions of the South, and so many different peoples fighting and resisting and building. So we're going to map and coordinate that history, our mutual aid sites and centers, the local policy fights that have so much in relationship to each other. We can learn from each other. Many of their attacks are just carbon copies of the legislation that hits Georgia, that hits Florida, that hits Arkansas. We can learn from each other and fight from our own specific communities. And we're going to map those active organizations and come and strengthen all these different campaigns and initiatives. And we can go to the next. And we're going to communicate our stories. It feels really important in a year where it just feels like the misinformation, the disinformation is hitting us, where they're trying to, the opposition is really crafting a narrative that is divisive and is dangerous. And so we need to tell our stories of power, our stories of love, our stories of our history, of the stories that can really inspire and inform the work that we're doing as Southerners fighting for liberation. And the last one is to resource our people. We want to make sure that our folks are resourced, not just with funds, but with time, with space, with pacing, with healing work, with time together, with connection, with skills and education. So we want to sustain our movements by supporting each other and resourcing our organizing so that we can also build movements that are sustainable beyond philanthropy and towards a new social economy where all of our families can survive and thrive. And so these outcomes really represent what we're shooting for, the vision. And I think go to the next one, and we're going to start to talk about the road to SMA 10. So this is the 10th Southern Movement Assembly in the 10th year of our being in existence as a formation. And so we want to converge at this SMA 10 as representatives of assemblies. So we want to organize assemblies across the region, each of us, all of us on this call, all of the groups that we're a part of, to happen across the region to unite our forces and build strategies together for 2023 and beyond, so that we're preparing ourselves, preparing our communities to really engage and resist these attacks, but also to build up our power, our governance, and our ability to protect and defend ourselves against so many crises that we're facing. So the 1, 2, 3 of how we're going to do this, and we'll go through it in a timeline as well. We're going to learn and share how to organize a People's Movement Assembly at the Organizing Intensive in June. We're going to organize a PMA, gather your folks, assess the situation, design visions, and commit to strategies. We're going to prepare for SMA 10. So each PMA will select 2 or 3 representatives to come to the SMA 10 in September. And we'll participate in that SMA 10 with our visions and strategies on these specific front lines to produce this next set of plans. So you can pop me back to the screen. Yeah. So September 9th to 11th, save the date. This is SMA 10. We're going to be up in North Carolina in Whitakers once more at the Franklinton Center at Bricks. Let's go to the next one. We're going to be flexing our power and asking that question. How do we exercise our Southern freedom movement power to replace the systems that have failed us? So we're going to converge and really root in this long-term struggle to resist and build our own governance and mutual aid to protect our folks. Let's see the next one. And these slides are awesome that Ayana created for us. And we're going to connect to this long through line of building political power. Since the first Southern Movement Assembly in Lowndes County, Alabama, we have connected to the Black radical tradition and the Southern Freedom Movement of building our own political power in every single level of strategy, whether that's electoral strategy and getting folks elected, grassroots strategy and organizing, protest and dissent, and then, of course, the mutual aid work that we've been doing for so long. So we're going to collectivize that political power, and we're going to invite all of our groups, all of our members, everybody. No, you're good. We can keep rolling. How to engage on this road to SMA 10. So yeah, let's see it. Let's see this next one. Yeah. So the first step really, I mean, people's movement assemblies are happening already. People are organizing them all over the South. And we're going to create some space to go a little deeper, share skills, and learn how to organize, facilitate, and synthesize these assemblies. We want to do that. We want to learn from each other. Nobody knows, I mean, everybody has experience doing PMAs. So we're going to share that at this intensive June 11th and 12th. We use them to gather, to learn and develop strategies. And so we want to use this methodology as a way to keep working towards our bigger goals. So that's June 11th and 12th. Definitely put that down. That's the first step to skill up. Let's see what's next. I think the next step is to organize PMAs. So this is what we've done. We're launching the action plan today. So we've been building with the Hot Damn Freedom and Survival School. If you're in one of the survival school study groups, definitely throw it in the chat or shout out your group. We've been doing abolition, decolonization, and we're about to jump into mutual aid. And we're launching the action plan. So we've been listening, we've been learning, we've been assessing. Let's see what's next. In this next quarter. To the next slide. So we're going to keep working on that Hot Damn Freedom and Survival School into this next semester. We'll have these general membership assembly calls, and we're really leading up to this mapping and learning process at the organizing intensive. So this is the skill up. Power the PMAs, doing a training, sharing the work that we've done, building up that capacity across the region. Let's hit the next. And then we're going to organize. We're going to organize and assemble July, August, September through the summer. And we're going to gear up. Go back one for me. Go back one. Yeah. So we're going to roll up into September, September 9th and 11th, a little bit different. And with this sort of representative process, so that we're coming from strength and we're representing our assemblies back home, coming together, sharing visions and strategies. And doing that together at SMA. And then we'll roll into 2023, take a breath, take a moment to celebrate in this final quarter on the next slide. Close out with that synthesis and then begin again in January. So this is a regular rhythm for us. We know that there's really powerful examples. And so we want to get into small groups and think about examples of how you could work the work you're already doing, the existing work that you're on top of right now, how you can engage this plan. You might be already organizing on these front lines around health or climate, around trans lives, protecting us from these legislative attacks. We might be organizing PMAs around the Gulf Southward Green New Deal. We want to be thinking about how to bring in these ideas, these visions from those PMAs into this bigger, broader SMA process. So as we're fighting all of these, we want to think about let's coordinate a people's defense against these trumped up charges from the protests and uprisings in 2020. Let's coordinate our mutual aid centers and public health response to this pandemic. Let's gather our healers and mental health practitioners. Let's coordinate across the participatory budgeting that folks are doing on a local level, really trying to go after those ARPA, the rescue plan funds, and connect and coordinate with each other. So we're going to break up and kind of get inspired by some of those ideas and examples, and see how we work our way into these 4 big steps of the action plan. So we're gonna talk, let's see.
Woo!
Yeah, thank you.
No, that was, you just laid it out.
So thank you today. We're gonna, yeah, thanks, Ayana. She's what I'm doing. So we're gonna break up and really hear from all y'all. Let's get into groups and say, how are you gonna put this into play? We're all part of building out this. This is just a framework, right? This is just a way that we can fit all the work that we're doing, so that we can coordinate and converge and come together. Awesome. So let's see. I think we're gonna break up into about 6 or 7 people in each group, Annie. And the 3 questions, we'll just have people kind of popcorn and say, what pieces of the plan are you excited about? What resonates? And where do you see how this can connect and expand and support your existing work? I'm going to put the questions in the chat. And are there any gaps? Are there some gaps or some front lines that you want to take on? What are some of your ideas about how to move this plan forward based on what you're working on in your area? So I think we're just going to break out a little bit randomly. And if folks will just kind of say their name, where they're calling in from, and then just jump into it. What are you excited about? And how does it connect to what you're already doing? And hopefully, if you can, let everybody get a chance to speak. We'll go for about, if folks speak, if we're in groups of about 6 people each, go ahead and, take a minute to speak to it, about 1.5 minutes. We'll come back and we'll just hear really one exciting idea from each group when you come back. And so that we can start to join these work groups and make it happen. So I think we'll just break out.
Before we break out, just on a tech tip, we just want to say that anyone who needs Spanish interpretation will need to stay into the main room. We also invite any other English speakers, if you'd like to help us mix it up, to also stay in the main room too. Thank you.
And you can look at the full plan in the Google Doc as you're talking, and put any comments in there too. See, let us know what you're thinking, and into the chat so that we can adjust and streamline so that it makes sense for everybody. All right, Annie, you just let us know.
I'm ready, and if you need interpretation, please remember to stay in this room.
Thanks.
Annie.
Jeanette.
And if I have to stay in this room, do I need to join room 6?
No, if you would like to stay in this room, you are free to stay here. I assigned folks so they can make their own decision.
Okay, because I'm seeing this telling me to join room 6. Thank you.
Yep. Okay. This is the group. If anybody wants to start us off, I'll turn it over to Miss Glory.
Oh, wow. Okay. Hello, everyone. It's great to have you all be on this call. General Membership Assembly call is always a very interesting opportunity for people to learn and grow with what we're doing at the Southern Movement Assembly. So for today, since we are looking at the roadmap towards SMA 10, and we have listened to all that Steph laid out as the way forward with the roadmap, I would want us to go around and say, what is it that you like about the plan? What is it that you're working on in your organization that is in line with the plan? What are you challenging as you do this work that you like to lift up? And what are some of the successes that you would want to lift up as well? That would help us as we look through this, because Steph also put, Ayana put in the chat, how do you see the action plan? How does it support the work that you are doing in your respective organization? And what are the gaps that you like to lift up? So I would pass this on to, let me see who is the next person on this. I see ESL and Spanish interpreter. Who else is on this call, Annie? In our group. I just see the Spanish interpreter, Williams, and also the sign interpreter. So who else is on this call so I can pass this to the person?
I think that's just us 6.
It's just us here? Oh my goodness. Then, because if you guys are interpreting, well, you also have the opportunity to talk about the plan that you have just interpreted, and how does that sink into the work that you're doing? And what are the gaps that you think are there that we can work on? I hate to take out of your interpretation mode, but I don't know what to do since it's just the 4 of us on the call. Annie, myself, yourself, and also the Spanish interpreter. So I like to listen to you all as well. So who wants to go next? Who wants to help us to go next? I don't want to be the only one speaking.
Thank you, Ms. Glory. I'm thinking about just how it all ties together with like the mutual aid work currently happening with the Project South and Hunger Coalition. And like the idea of using the people movement assemblies as a way to invite folks back. I know we're trying to do garden days and work in a farm, and just thinking about how we're using the action plan and SMA to tie into our work for mutual aid. And like just to, invite folks back to the building. And we got about 4 minutes remaining, y'all.
Okay, thanks, Annie. Does anybody want to say anything that you all are working on, just like Annie shared?
Back up.
Okay, I think Annie talked about mutual aid. A lot of mutual aid locations are springing up as a result of the experience that we have had in the movement, and also when COVID struck and people need assistance, and so people were able to come together to form different mutual aid groups that were helping to assist people. So if you do not have a mutual aid in your community or anywhere that you are, it's important for you to check and see what others are doing around mutual aid. Again, with us at Women Watch Africa, because when Annie said go ahead, I did not introduce myself. I am Glory Kilanko. I'm the founder and CEO for Women Watch Africa. We also have a mutual aid program which we do on the last Saturday of every month, which helps us to give communal aid and support to community members, and at the same time, listen to their needs and take questions on how we can be of better help to them and improve their situation. This has helped us to be more connected to the community. So anyone wants to go? I think if nobody is saying anything, I would like you all to go back and look at the action plan. One good thing is that it's going to be contained in the notes that go out. And there's also a recording of this membership assembly. I would ask that you listen to the recording and also read the notes, because they are always helpful tools, which we suggest that people take back as a reference point to their respective organizations. So I thank you all for being in this group.
And also thank you, Ms. Gloria. I'm sorry, I was trying to get off mute. I didn't introduce myself either. My name is Annie Thomas, she, her pronouns. I'm one of the movement organizers at Project South. And then part of being at Project South is a partnership with the Hunger Coalition and working with the Mutual Aid Liberation Center and 9 Gammon. I was about to say, we're getting ready to come back in 3 minutes. Ayana, would you like to go?
Yes, sorry about that. Hey y'all, my name is Ayana. I use she, her pronouns. I am calling from the land of the Ute, Cherokee, and Muskogee people, Chattanooga, Tennessee. And sorry y'all, that's my little pup in the background. I'm one of the organizing team members of the Southern Movement Assembly, but also a member of Concerned Citizens for Justice here in Chattanooga. And the action plan, really, something that stuck out to me was just how in-depth and spot on the landscape analysis was. Just really starting off with that tired feeling, but also ending with the hopefulness of what us as Southern organizers and community members are doing and have already been doing, especially since the uprisings of 2020, and here we are 2 years later. I just really feel like it spoke to it, and it also named a good bit of the struggles that we're seeing, the continued struggles. Whereas I'm seeing a lot of different narratives where it's coming off as it's just now arrived, when in actuality, these issues have been boiling, I guess you would say, for some point now, and we have been steady resisting back. So yeah, I just really appreciated that, to start off really strong with naming that, and then to also have this hopefulness as a collective for us. So I'll just have to, thank you.
Hey everybody, sorry about that. Might have came in a little later too. I had some issues with my computer a minute ago, but my name is Ramon De Vasquez. I'm out here in San Antonio, Texas. And so this is kind of a homeland to my people. They belong to Oaxaca Nation, South Texas. I come from the Alteca-Powame tribe. And so I work for an organization called American Indians in Texas at the Spanish Colonial Missions. We're fortunate enough to be a grantee from the Southern People's Movement, and we're super grateful, and here with a bunch of our, not a bunch, but 3 of my other staff members as well, try to join this call and just hear from everybody else. I know you all have been moving for a long time now, and we've been doing our own work here in the San Antonio area. And, you know, some of the things that for us is super important in being connected in this movement for the South here is, of course, understanding, you know, the oppressive ways that historically for us began during first contact and so on, you know, with my people and other peoples that are Aboriginal to the area that no longer can have access to this same support, if you will, right, across Indian country. And so our organization builds strategic power and opportunity for community members that identify as urban native communities, or even folks that come from tribal communities, that come from off reservations and so on. And so we're really excited and, trying to move whatever, in whatever direction we can to be in cohesion with other folks that are organizing across the South. And so we're really thankful to be on this call as well. So thank you.
And we'd just like to welcome folks back as they're joining. We were just wrapping up in the main lobby. Raymond was sharing Miss Glory, Ayana, and just, talking about their amazing work. So welcome everybody. I'm going to turn it back over to our facilitators.
Thanks, Annie, who supports the tech, but is also an organizer and facilitator as well. Hopefully that was good to just hear from folks. So I just want to hear quick ideas, just throw them out there and throw them into the chat. Were there any ideas that folks got excited about related to the action plan and to your ongoing work and how they can support each other?
Hey everybody, this is Janae. I use she, her pronouns, and I am based in Durham, North Carolina. So I'm super pumped that it's going to be at Franklinton, which isn't too far from me. In my group, I was really excited to hear from someone who's in Georgia. I believe it was Miss Shirley in Georgia, talk about her young people. And that felt like I could connect it to our scholarship program, which we're about to launch our second year Solidarity Economy and Culture work at Highlander, and be able to connect with some young people and make sure that the organizing that I'm doing with young people locally in Durham, that we able to bring those, bring and make introductions and bring people together, and really looking forward to what we can do this summer during our education series to amplify the campaign work and teaching so that we can join in the fall. Thank you.
Awesome.
Hey, Nina.
Perfect. Yeah, if there's already conferences or trainings or teach-ins that y'all are doing, let's share this, these invitations to be part of the Southern Movement Assembly, the PMA organizing intensive in June, and then on into SMA 10. Any other big ideas?
Everything they had and always taught us that faith, family, and community are only important.
That was getting official. Somebody was coming in live. There's a whole new element. Any other big ideas coming out, y'all? Definitely wanting to, we also heard from Miss Shirley about working with her church to create safe haven for young people facing violence and bullying and spaces like that for a lot of folks who are facing challenge and crisis.
Yes, I'm so glad that I had a chance to share that, because, in a small place where you have a small city and we live in the rural community, and there are very few spaces available, support from the city, because they operate with a mayor. We have commissioners, but our commissioner will not really work with our community. So I had to start doing things that I could do, that I could provide through the church and things like that, because I realized that someone has to be vigilant and be mindful of what's going on in your community. And I'm very active in many other organizations too, that I do need resources. So if anybody could provide us with some resources that we could use to have for the young people when we assemble information or anything that would help them to learn and to grow. We don't have computers. We don't have internet right now. This is something in the working. I'm trying to acquire those things so that when we come, I can have that available to help them to learn what's going on and how others are dealing with these type situations.
Yeah.
So any help I can get, I'll be open.
Awesome. No, absolutely. And we're here to help each other. So let's find ways to share skills, capacity, resources. That's one of the goals of the action plan. So definitely let's stay connected. I'm going to put the 1, 2, 3, 4 of the action plan into the chat. Please check out the full narrative and landscape analysis. And thank you, Sister Shafia, for sharing that. I'm going to toss it to Ariana to tell us how to get on board and stay engaged.
Yes, thank you, Steph, and thank you, Ms. Shafia. Okay, guys, I hope you had some really great discussions in your work team groups. My work team had great conversations, and I'm really excited to get to work more with the people that I met today. I hope you guys are too. So here is your chance. Here's the plug. So we have work teams set up so that you can share your skills with us. You can learn new skills. You can join us in really bringing this action plan to reality by joining one of our work teams. And we are going to give a brief review of each one of those work teams so you can figure out kind of where your interest is, where you fit in. We're going to tell you how to plug in, and we look forward to having you guys really join us on this road. So I want to reintroduce that the SMA did hire 3 new staff organizers this year. Woohoo! One of them is me. I'm Ariana. We also have Mary, Ayana Clemens, who are supporting us on this call today as well. And so each of us are lead on one of these work teams in addition to 2 co-leads from our governing council body. And so I'm going to pass it to Lou, who's going to start us off with the work. She's the lead for the SMA 10 team, and I'm going to let her talk to you guys about that. Lou?
Hey, y'all. It's so nice to be on here with y'all. So great to see so many of your faces. So I'm on the SMA 10 team. I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. It is a team that's focused on the planning and design of SMA 10. We are going to be inviting people to join this. This is going to be a smaller team. So I'm telling you about it because it exists and we might be reaching out to you. But we're not, this won't be one you sign up for immediately. If you want to let us know you're interested, you can, but we will be inviting folks. And then I'm going to go ahead and talk about, I'm not on this team, but I want our communications and history co-lead couldn't be on tonight. So I'm going to hype up the communications and history team. So much of our work is around being able to communicate our stories effectively, right? And diving into our history. So this team is going to be meeting bi-weekly on Thursdays at 6 p.m. Eastern. This work team helps to streamline the history of the SMA, facilitate communication across organizations on the front lines, captures and spreads our visions of the South through culturally rooted communication practices. This is a dope team. We want support for this, and Ayana is the staff person who's the lead on co-leading this. So yeah, and then I'm going to pass over to Nina, who is one of our co-leads of the membership engagement team.
Thank you, Lou. Nina Morgan, she, they pronouns, here in Birmingham, Alabama, organizing, and the membership engagement team focuses on connection and cultivation and expansion and enrichment of the SMA membership body. So, you know, SMA only works because our members make it work, right? And it's important to have a thought group, a work team, a crew, a tribe that's really committed to thinking through what are the things that we can do to build the membership base, support the membership base, connect the membership base, and make sure that the SMA as a body is, resourcing members and making sure that, people who are not members, get invited in and can really see themselves in the SMA. And so we are going to be focused. If you're interested in learning more about what people are doing across the region, if you're interested in really helping figure out, okay, how can we connect people? How can people get to know each other a little bit better? Developing onboarding infrastructure, helping to organize calls like tonight, our general membership assembly calls, organizing healing spaces for people across the region, really planning towards that PMA intensive in June. This is the team for you. So if you're interested, sign up and reach out to Ariana, who's co-lead, and come throw down with us. And I'll pass it back to Lou, I believe.
I think I'm passing it to Ariana, actually. So I think we're good. Ariana's going to tell us how we sign up for these work teams.
Thank you, ladies. So now is your time. We have a form. You can click the link in the chat for our interest form, where you can go ahead and let us know your preferences about which work team that you want to be on, and leave us some more information about you and how to connect with you, kind of what your skills and interests are that you want to share with us, or that you want to be able to learn from your peers and other members that are a part of this collective. So we're going to give everybody a few minutes to do that. You can also drop in the chat your email address and your team preference if that chat, and follow up with you.
We have to have your authorization on the form.
And we will give you access. Hold on.
I can help fix that.
And thank you, everybody, for patiently waiting with us while we work out some tech kinks. As always, technology loves making us work sometimes. So just thank y'all for y'all patience.
Oh, all of my messages. Looks like we have a lot of action and a lot of interest, and I know I'm very excited about that. I'm sure our other staff and GC members are very excited about that as well, to get you guys pulled into this work and getting your input as we move along together. So thank you. If you are clicking in the link and you're signing up, we're so happy, and we look forward to following up with you and continuing these conversations. And I want y'all to continue that. The link is available. I'm also going to drop in the chat the email addresses for the staff members who are co-leading each of the teams. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to either of us, and hopefully we can get you the information that you need. So I'm gonna move us right along, but if you're still filling out a form, please continue to do that. I want us to now do a short visioning exercise as we close out today. And just together, let's think about a year from now, after we have done this work We've skilled up, we've done PMAs in our communities. We've attended the SMA 10. What do our communities look like a year from now? What battles have we won? What does the South now look like? What are some strategies or programs that we've created or that we were able to scale? Things that we were able to share? If we can take a moment and just vision, just dream what this work is going to look like together a year from now. And feel free to drop that in the chat or share aloud if you feel compelled.
Tell them that, you know, I feel like
All right, we got some good things coming up in the chat. And I hope you guys have some really awesome things in mind. And maybe you don't feel comfortable sharing them now, but hopefully you joined up for a work team and you can share them at your work team meeting with us. And we look forward to bringing all those things to fruition along with you. So we want to thank you all for joining us today. Thanks to our tech team, our facilitators, our members, and all of the participants on today's call. We want to invite you all to become a member on our website at southtosouth.org and follow us on social media. Also invite you to continue this conversation on your social media. Invite your friends, tell them about the work that you're excited about, tell them about the meeting here and what you learned at your SMA meeting, and invite them into the work as well. Tell them what you're excited about, what you'll be working on, and invite them to come along for the ride. We want to invite you to register for our next call. We host these calls once a month for our members. So we want to invite you to go ahead and register for our April call. We're also opening the registration for our SMA Freedom and Survival Hot Down School. This semester will be focused on solidarity and action, mutual aid. If you join the first and second semester, you have the same availability and you do not need to register again. But if you are new and you want to sign up and you want to join a study group and learn and share skills amongst your peers, then go ahead and click the link that'll be in the chat to sign up and register for those study groups. Again, if you didn't get a chance today, you can sign up to be in one of our teams and help us to move this work forward. And we also want to invite you to Discord to join this or to continue this conversation and connect with other members on Discord. There will be a link in the chat that invites you to join us there. And we want to invite you to look forward to future events. We are going to be bringing forward to add value to our membership and continue to find ways to engage and enrich you all. So be on the lookout for other things coming from SMA in the future. And of course, SMA 10, we hope you all are really excited and are planning to be there, planning to hold PMAs in your community. And we thank you all for being here tonight. And with that, Lou, cue the music.
Thanks, y'all.
Thanks, y'all. Good night, everybody.
Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The freedom train is coming. Can't you hear that whistle blowing? It's time to get your tickets, y'all, and get on